Chapter 1, Mishnah 4. The Mishnah mentions some cases where a par halem davar is not brought. If a court mistakenly ruled to permit a forbidden act, and one of the judges realized that they had made a mistake, and he said to the other judges, "You are mistaken," or if the most distinguished member of the court was not there when the court ruled, or if one of the judges was a convert or a mamzer or a nasin, or a scholar who never had children. In all these cases, even if most of the community follows the erroneous ruling, they are exempt from bringing a par halem davar. This is because a par halem davar offering is brought only when the entire court rules erroneously. Thus, it is not brought if one of the judges disagrees with the ruling. If the court rules without its most distinguished member, the ruling is considered negligent, and no par halem davar is brought for a negligent ruling. Finally, a par halem davar is brought only for a ruling issued by a court whose members are all fit to judge capital cases, and a convert, mamzer, nasin, or childless man may not judge capital cases. The Mishnah gives the source for the last law mentioned, that a par halem davar is brought only when all the court's members are fit to judge capital cases. If one of the judges is not fit to judge capital cases, no par halem davar is brought. For it is stated here, when discussing the par halem davar, the word assembly, and it is stated there, when discussing capital crimes, the word assembly. Just as members of the assembly, i.e. the court, discussed there in the passage concerning capital cases, must obviously all be qualified to rule in capital cases, so too the members of the assembly discussed here in the passage concerning a par halem davar must all be qualified to rule in capital cases. The par halem davar is a chatas offering, and like every chatas, it is brought only for an unintentional sin. The Mishnah elaborates. If the court unintentionally ruled incorrectly, that is, they did not realize that their ruling was incorrect, and the entire congregation did the forbidden act unintentionally, that is, they thought it was permitted since the court had allowed it, they bring a bull, par halem davar. It is for such a case that the Torah prescribes this offering, when both the ruling of the court and the actions of the community were unintentional. In the following cases, though, no par halem davar is brought. If the court deliberately issues an incorrect ruling, that is, they knew the act was forbidden but permitted it anyway, and the congregation did the act unintentionally, i.e. they thought it was permitted since the court had allowed it, they, each individual who sinned, bring a female sheep or goat as a personal chatas. They do not bring a par halem davar. Although the people followed the ruling unintentionally, the court's incorrect ruling was deliberate, and no par halem davar is brought for a deliberately incorrect ruling. Since no communal atonement is brought, each individual must bring a chatas to atone for his unintentional sin. If the court unintentionally ruled incorrectly, and the congregation did the forbidden act deliberately, that is, they realized that the court had erred, but they did the act anyway, the people are exempt from any offering. Although the court ruled unintentionally, no offerings are brought, because the people sinned deliberately, and no offering is brought for a deliberate sin.